Hello friends, now our next topic is percentages and its application. Okay, I think you are familiar with basic concepts of percentages, like how to convert percent into ratio and how to convert ratio into percentage. For example, 20% is 1/5, 50% is half. Why I'm telling this, because if you know this, how to convert the percentage into ratio, or you can remember, then the calculation will be very easy. Okay, but still, I'll revise those concepts so that you'll be familiar again. Okay, now you can see here, it is given percent means per 100. You know about this. Now let us look at how to convert a percent to ratio. If you want to convert any percentage to a ratio, then you have to simply divide that percent by 100. Like 20%, 20 divided by 100, and you'll get 1/5 of 200%. That is 200 divided by 100, that is 2. Okay, 150%, 150 divided by 100, that is 3 by 2. uh, and the ratio to percent conversion is exactly opposite to the above method. Like here you divided by 100, now you'll have to multiply by 100. For example, if you want to convert half into percent, you'll have to multiply this half and by 100, so you'll get 50%. Similarly, point 4 into 100, that is 40. That means point 4 is equal to 40%. Now we'll see how to calculate percentage increase or a percentage decrease in a particular quantity. Okay, it's very simple. If you want to calculate increase, then you'll have then it is sure that final value is greater than initial value, so you'll have to subtract initial value from final value, and the base will always be initial value, whether it is increase or decrease. Okay, final minus initial, that is means increase upon initial into 100, it will give you percent increase. And if you want to find the percent decrease, that means the initial value is greater than final value, so the decrease amount upon initial value into 100. In both the cases, the base is initial value. And here, if you want to increase or decrease a quantity by a given percent, x%, then you can use this formula. Suppose if you want to increase a quantity by 10%, then you'll have to multiply that quantity by this factor, that is 100 plus 10 upon 100, that is 110 upon 100. Now we'll see about the successive percentage change. What is successive percentage? Suppose there is one quantity, and you are changing that quantity by some percent, and again you are changing the final value by some percent again. Whether it is increase or decrease, it is called as successive percentage change. The basics, the basic example for this is, if you want to increase one quantity two times, by x%, and after that by y%, then you can find out the net increase by this formula, that is x plus y upon 100. Okay, we can prove this. Let us take one example. Suppose if you want to increase price of one thing, which is 100 rupees, by 10%. Okay, then the value will become 110. Now again you want to increase the price by 10%, then 10% of 110 is 11, then the value will become 121. Now if you will put that 10 and 10 in this formula, you will get 21%. 10 plus 10, 20, and 10 into 10, 100 upon 100, that is 1, then in 21%. So similar way, if there is a successive discount of x% and y% in price, then the net discount can be calculated by this formula. You'll have to note down this formula, because this is very important formula. This will help you in the problems. There is one more formula. If there is x% increase and the same way x% decrease after that, then the net, there will be always a net decrease, and that is this. Suppose there is a 10% increase and then 10% decrease, then you'll have a net decrease of 1%, because 10 square is 100, 100 upon 100 is 1%. Okay, you can prove this by a simple by taking a simple example. Suppose the price of one thing is 100 rupees, and now you want to increase it by 10%, so the price will become 110 rupees. Now you want to decrease it by same, that is 10%, then 10% of 110 is 11. So if you will decrease 110 by 11, you will get 99. That means finally you have decreased the value of that product by 1 rupees. That is 1%, because the initial value was 100 rupees. In the similar way, if it is decreased initially and then increase, then also there will be a net decrease of x square upon 100%. Okay, and if this x percent increase and y percent decrease, then the formula of net change is this. It can be a positive or a negative, depends on these two values, x and y. Now we'll see some applications of percentage. The very familiar application is to calculate simple interest and compound interest. These are the few basic fundas. Interest is the sum which is paid by the borrower to the lender for using the money for a specific time period. The money borrowed is called principal. Rate of interest, you know that. The time is number of periods. The total sum after adding the interest amount is called amount. Okay. The formula is very simple. To calculate simple interest, you just have to multiply PNR upon 100. Okay, and the final amount is principal plus simple interest. You might be knowing this. Simple interest for any number of year is common. You don't have to add interest on interest in simple interest. In compound interest, you will do this. You'll have to add interest on interest. Okay, whether it is 10 year or 2 year or 3 year, the simple interest for each and every year will remain same. So we can take one simple example. What is the simple interest on rupees 7,000 10% per annum for 5 years? Put these values in the formula, you'll get the amount 3,500. Now on other hand, if you want to look at compound interest, the formula is slightly different. Here you don't have any direct formula for compound interest. Here you have direct formula for amount. Amount is equal to P in bracket 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N. Then if you want to calculate the compound interest, you can subtract the principal from that amount, then you'll get the compound interest. Okay. Now please read this paragraph. In the compound interest, the interest is added to the principal at the end of each period, and the amount thus obtained becomes the principal for the next period. That means for the next period, you are also calculating the interest on that interest of the first period. Okay, that's why it's called as cumulative. Here there is very important thing. Suppose sometimes in compound interest, they'll calculate the interest half yearly, quarterly or monthly. So you'll have to change the values according to that. For example, there is annual calculation. If it is given that the compounding rate is on the basis of annual, then the number of period will be n should be in number of years, and rate is R%. Suppose it is given that the compounding will be half yearly, then you'll have to increase the number of periods. Okay, so suppose if it is 2 years, then how many half year will come in 2 years? You can very easily calculate 4 times half year will come in the 2 years. So you can directly multiply the number of years by 2, and for rate you'll have to divide by 2. Similarly, if it is quarterly, then you'll have to multiply the number of years by 4, and the rate should be divided by 4. For monthly calculation, it is same. You'll have to multiply the number of period by 12, and you have to divide the rate of interest by 12. For example, when the principal changes after every 3 months, we say that the interest is compounded quarterly. Then the formula will become amount is equal to P. The rate, you'll have to divide the rate by 4, and you'll have to multiply the period by 4. Now there is a simple concept. If you want to look at the concept, you'll be very much clear about the difference between SI and CI. Suppose there is one amount and the rate is 10%, and the in first case we are taking simple interest, and the second case we are taking compound interest. So after first year, the simple interest will be 10%, also compound interest will be 10%. So if you are taking, suppose, a principal amount 100, then at the end of the first year, in both the cases, the final amount will be 110 rupees. But after that, for the second year, in the case of simple interest, again the rate of interest will be 10. Then amount will become 120. But in compound interest, you'll have to calculate the interest on that 10% also. That means you will calculate 10% on 110 rupees, that is 11. Then the final amount will become 121. So in the case of simple interest, you are paying 20 rupees as interest for the 2 years, but in case of compound interest, you are paying 21 rupees interest for the 2 years. Now there are some more applications for of percentages. First one is population growth rate, and next one is depreciation. Population growth rate, suppose let the population of a town be P, and if it is increased at the rate of R% per annum, then population after n years, this formula is like similar to compound interest. Okay, but if you want to calculate the population n years ago, then the formula is this. On the same lines, depreciation, you know that what is depreciation. You are very much familiar with this concept, that a value of machine gets depreciated after a few years. Okay, so suppose the present value of the machine is P, and if you want to calculate the future value, that is after n year, then you can definitely calculate by this formula. Please take care that here there is a minus, not plus. Okay, and if you want to calculate the value of the machine n years ago, then the formula is this. Now we'll see some of the examples on the basis of percentage in the first example is very simple. In an election, one of the two candidates got 30% of the total votes polled, but he lost by 210 votes. What was the total number of votes polled? The solution is right here. If the total number of votes polled be X, then one candidate got 30 and another got 70. So difference between 70 and 30 is 40%. That means the 210 is 40%. So 40% of X is 210. Then you can calculate the X is 525. So this is second example. A sum of money placed at simple interest doubles in 8 years. Find the rate of interest. This is simple interest problem, and if the money is getting doubled in 8 years, so you can very easily can calculate this, because if money is getting doubled, that means simple interest is equal to the principal. Suppose the principal is 100, and if it is getting doubled, that means 200, that means interest added to that is 100, and that too in 8 years. So you can easily calculate the rate, that is 100 divided by 8 is equal to 12.5%. Also, I have given the complete traditional method to solve that. You can look at this. Now this is third example of the depreciation. The value of machine depreciated at the rate of 10%. It is given. It was purchased 3 years ago, and the value of that machine, the present value of that machine is given. So you have to calculate the purchase price of the machine. So you know the formula. You can put all these value in the formula, and you can find the answer. The value of the machine is the 3 years ago it was 36,200. Hence option B is the right option. Now we'll look some of the problems which were asked in the papers, actual GATE papers. This is one problem which was asked in year 2012. The total runs scored by 4 cricketers PQRS in year 2009 and 10 are given in the following table. The player with the lowest percent increase in the total runs. You can definitely start calculating these things because you know the formula of percent increase, but you can give the answer by judgment also. The value is this 800 and this is 1008. You can definitely approximate this as 800 and 1000. So 800 is increased by 200. That means the increase is around 25%. Now if you look at this 765, you can assume it to be 750, and it is 912. That means 900. Okay, you can approximate it. So 750 got increased by 150. That is 20% only. So it is 25%. It is 20%. 429 got to 619. It is nearly 45 to 50%. 501 to 701. That means nearly 40%. So by approximation also you can get the answer. The highest percent increase is R and the lowest percent increase is Q. But if you want to calculate, you can always calculate. This is the calculations. You know that percent is the final value minus initial value upon initial value, and these are the percent increase, and the lowest is for Q. Now this is next problem, which was asked in year 2010. A person invests ₹1000 at 10% annual compound interest for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, the whole amount is invested at annual simple interest of 12% for 5 years. The total value of investment finally is. So first time you'll have to use the compound interest formula, and the next time you'll have to use a simple interest formula. These are the data. I have to put it. The value, the amount after compounding for 2 years is 1210. Now you'll have to assume this value as a principal for the next investment, that is 12% for 5 years. So I have put 1210 over here, and I got simple interest as 726 rupees for 5 years. Now you can find the final amount by adding this new principal plus simple interest, that is 1936. That means answer is D. Now let us look at the third problem, which was asked in 2012. The data given in the following table summarize the monthly budget of an average household. The approximate percentage of the family budget not spent on saving. So you can calculate very easily. You can add these amount, and you know that on saving they are spending 15000. Okay, so the total budget is 10500. Expenditure other than saving is 9000. Hence you can easily calculate the percent. Sometimes students miss out this not word, and they find the percentage of saving. Okay, so please don't do this mistake. Now let us look at the fourth problem, which was asked in the year 2011. With the first appearance of this problem, you'll think that this is very tough, but no, this is very easy problem. Just you'll have to read the data carefully. The quality of service delivered by a company consists of 6 factors, that is outcome, tangible, reliability, responsiveness, empathy, and assurance. This is a radar diagram. Okay, the dots in the picture indicates the score for each factor on the scale, that is 0 to 10. You can see the scale: 0, then 2, then 4, 6, 8, 10. That means this total line is of 10. This is of 8. Okay, the standardized coefficient for each factor is given in the parenthesis. You can take this as a weightage. Okay, outcome is having coefficient of 0.8, tangible as having coefficient of 0.4, and so on. The contribution of each factor to overall service quality is directly proportional to the factor score and standardized coefficient. Overall service quality is directly proportional to these two quantities, so you can multiply these two quantities. Okay, and you can take a proportionality constant as K. Now what is the question? The lowest contribution among all the above factor to the overall quality of service delivered by the company is. So you'll have to calculate this by this. These are the factors, coefficient and factor score. I have multiplied this, and I have assumed proportionality constant as K. Now after multiplying this, I have added to the total. The total is 20K, and if you look, the lowest contribution is for tangibles, that is 2K. So if you'll find the percentage, 2K will be 10% of 20K. So answer is A. Thank you.